I'm David Green. I'm a professor in the Vancouver School of Economics. So one of the things we've just started working on that I'm excited about is looking at workers in firms where there's workers of sort of different levels within the firm. So think about a firm like an engineering firm. And within the engineering firm, there are administrators, there's engineers, of course, but there's also janitors and other people who are really not engineers. And the thing that we're looking at is if the engineers, for some reason, do better, there's a sort of a shock to their labor market, if you want, how do the other workers in the firms fare? Do they get to share in part in that extra productivity of the engineers? And we're doing that using data that matches together firms and workers from administrative data, so we can look at how the wage structures within firms are set and whether in the end there are these kinds of spillovers. And the idea is that those spillovers may to some degree come from these social norms that you have to kind of bring other people along with you, that the engineers would not be able to get paid more and leave the janitors at some low wage. The pie analogy is a really good way to think about it. Think about exactly that. The firm is creating a pie. There is something that the engineers figure out how to do or access a new market, and the size of the pie grows. And in the past, janitors always got 1/100th of the pie. Okay, so now the pie's gotten bigger and that slice got bigger. And the engineers, in some sense, figure out that if they outsourced the janitorial part, they wouldn't feel an obligation to pay them 1/100th. They would always just pay them the low amount that they were being paid before the pie expanded, and then they get that extra part for themselves. That's kind of the idea of it. What I hope for my work is sort of multifaceted. I think almost all economists or academic economists have this sort of dream or hope that the work they do will be picked up by policymakers and turned into policies that make the economy function better for the good of people. We're providing the background, the basis, so that when they're making decisions on X, they're informed by your research in sort of subtle ways that they probably don't think of. I honestly think that the biggest way we have impact is through our students, because our students go out there after the discussions we've all had here, and they're the ones who actually are in there making those decisions most of the time. And the hope is that sort of the things that we work on and the way that we think about economics has kind of infused them, that they've then taken it and given it their own spin and made it their own in their own way, but that hopefully we've given them the basis for making all those decisions. That, to me, truly is the way that we have impact in the end.